But before we preview the Stanley Cup Finals, let's quickly touch on kind of a sweep job, the Avalanche over the Oilers. I was kind of shocked. I'm not shocked that the Avs won, but I'm shocked that they swept them.
You were?
A sweep in the Western Conference Finals and when with McDavid and Draisaitl playing the way they were, I was shocked.
I'm not shocked that they swept them. I wouldn't have been shocked if they didn't sweep them. I would have been shocked if the series went past 6, honestly. Yeah. Sorry, past 5. I thought it would have ended in 5. And I mean,
wow.
The big boys for Colorado came to play. I mean, what more can you expect? I thought that once Kemper got hurt and Francouz went in net, okay, maybe this was a little bit of light opening the door for the Oilers. But credit to Pavel Francouz, man. That guy shut the door.
He did. He's always been pretty steady as a backup. I think a couple of playoffs ago, when Grubauer got hurt, he had to come in and he played well before getting hurt when they had to rely on Michael Hutchinson, which is really unfortunate for them. But yeah, he stepped up, and he might have to step up again in the finals. But good on the Avs. They finally sort of got over that second round hump to get to where they were against the Oilers, and now they're at the big one. They're gonna be playing against the 2-time champs for a chance at the Stanley Cup, and that's exciting to watch. As a Leafs fan, I'm cheering for Naz. I actually really don't care who wins the Stanley Cup Finals, because I think both stories are really good. But happy for Naz, happy for Nate. I think it's going to be a really, really fun series. Now linking back to the Western Conference Finals, I just don't think the Oilers had an answer for the Avs depth and just the way they're so relentless. One of the holes that you talked about it last episode, is the hole that they have on their back end. Their defense aren't amazing. They're good. They're not amazing. But when you're getting relentlessly forechecked the way you will against the Avs, that's going to be exposed. And it was, because they got peppered and they got a lot of goals scored against them. And Mike Smith also got a little bit exposed in this series too. There was a perfect storm playing against a team like the Avalanche, who were relentless. And it's tough when you can't move the puck very well on your back end.
Yeah, I mean, the depth on Colorado is insane, and that's the problem with the Oilers. Like you said, they have one line that can score. We've talked about their good winger depth, but the problem is it's not elite winger depth. It's good winger depth, and when that first line isn't scoring, when Evander Kane is out for a little bit of time, and especially when Mike Smith is playing like normal Mike Smith, I mean, to the point where they were questioning as to whether to put Mikko Koskinen in the net, there's no surprise that the sweep happened, and it is easy to see that. It is easy to say that in hindsight, because hindsight's 2020. But we did say Colorado in 5-6, and I mean they beat us by a game. Yeah,
they got a little bit earlier there. I have some things I want to say about the Oilers, but if anything else that you want to say about the Avs before I go down that route?
No, it's all you.
Okay, everyone that covers hockey has been saying this, but I think we need to say it. Big credit to the Oilers, especially McDavid, Draisaitl, and Kane, for carrying this team to a Western Conference Finals. I didn't expect them to make it past Calgary just because I thought Calgary was going to be the match for them, but they really impressed me this playoffs. McDavid, 33 points in 16 games. Draisaitl, 32 and 16 on a bum ankle. He had a high ankle sprain. He's putting up 4 assists in Game 4, trying to put the team on his back. It's just so impressive. I think they deserve a massive shout-out. And Kane led the freaking playoffs. He's still leading the playoffs in goals. What an amazing pickup for them. We talked about how that was kind of lucky, fell into their lap, but nonetheless, they were the team that went out and got him, and it paid off for them. What do you think about those three and the Oilers in general?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, they put that team on their back. There's no other way around it. I don't think the second or third line had much scoring. I know Zachary Hyman scored a bunch of goals against Calgary. Didn't really show up much against the Avalanche, and it was left to those three. And I mean, Leon Draisaitl, to your credit, said it. He did it on a broken foot. And I don't know if I really expected anything less from Evander Kane. He was the Sharks Player of the Year last year, and then he comes here and averages a goal a game. I mean, that guy's going to get paid next year.
Yeah, he is.
He's a UFA, obviously, right?
He is. He's
Yeah.
only, yeah.
Some team. I mean, I would value him at probably around $7 million for 2 years. I think that's a fair contract for him because he was on pace to score 40, 55 if you included the playoffs. But there might be some team stupid enough to give him 7 by 5.
Oh, there's going to be a team stupid enough to do that. I was even hearing people say he might get a raise on the $7 million he was making in San Jose.
Might be worth it, honestly, with how well he played this year and how well he played in the playoffs. I mean, it's so difficult to find a winger that is that consistent in the playoffs against good quality teams. I mean, if I was a team that leaked winger depth and Evander Kane said he would play for me for $8 million a year at 4 or 5 years, I'm gonna take it.
I think that would be. It might be the price a team has to pay. I think that would be a bit of a risk, though, just because we know his history. But it does. I don't think he's. I mean, he's maybe the one guy in the league who literally can't afford to take a discount to stay at a city. So I think he's going to test the market and go to the highest bidder, as he should, given his well-known financial situation.
It's actually kind of funny. On a bit of a tangent, really quickly, that lawsuit with the San Jose Sharks, they're talking about it's not
completed yet.
No, and he might win it. And I saw a tweet that there is a chance that if he wins that lawsuit, San Jose must pay him the rest of that money, obviously, but he might have to go back and play for San Jose according to that contract. That'd be kind of funny.
That would be hilarious. I think they would immediately take whatever they can in the trade and get him out of there. That would actually be a crazy situation, because could you imagine if the Oilers had gone on to win the Cup when technically he shouldn't have even been allowed to leave the Sharks in the first place? That would have been such a mess for the NHL. Would have made for interesting stories. Would have made for some good stuff for us to cover over the offseason. But that would have been a pretty crazy, he wouldn't have been allowed to sign for the Oilers, and he would have potentially won a cup with them. That blows my mind. But I mean, hey, if they allowed for it to happen, that's on the NHL. But yeah, I think his days in Edmonton are numbered. I really do. Which kind of sucks for them, because that was the reason, a big reason why they had success. But we'll talk about the Oilers and maybe some of the things that they have to do in the off season, including Puljujärvi. We can talk about that a little bit later.